I'll be right there. I'll be right there. Yes, I love you. I love you very much. Yes. Hold on, honey. Someone's calling me. Hello, everybody. I am Nook of the Nook. Yes. Unless, of course, those of you who are listening and saying that Nook of the Book caused a lot of issues and should be sent to prison, I am Rook of the Nook, then. Anyways, I am currently at a honeymoon resort with my Snooky Poo. She and I have been retracing steps to see if we could find out what happened to the rest of my party. You see, if you remember from my last two times speaking with you, we went on a bachelor party. We got very cray-cray. We lost a person. We set up an alien to be incarcerated. And we made a fast friend in Lone Wolf. So, yes, and then we came back. And I got shit-faced and got lap dances. And apparently I blacked out so much I got married. However, I was able to watch the video, and the video shows that my best man was Hawk, Harper was there as a witness, and my Snooky Poo, apparently, she is one of the few goblins on Garden that is not related in any way, shape, or form to the Bloodfires. No, but it's interesting now. Her name is Daggerteeth. Yes, Daggerteeth. I call her Daggy. But she is now Daggerteeth of the Book. I've told that's what it says on the paperwork. You see, I don't really have a last name. Neither does she. Like I said, she's one of the few people that did not take the Bloodfire name after the rebellion on Garden against the Orange Bastard. But I am happy to say that she enjoys being of the Book, even though it's not my last name. But we're going with it. That's the yes. And like I say, I call her Daggy, but she is Daggertooth. And at this resort, we have, partially here, because we have found out that Harper is here. Yes, Harper and Hawk are both here. It turns out, after the wedding, Hawk totally decided that this was the right thing, so he was going to head back and see Red Hawk and tell him that he loved him with all his heart. And I told him, do what you gotta do, my man. And he looked at me and said, I said, I know, Hawk. I know. This, you gotta go ahead and do this. Take your brother Harper and go to your man. Tell him that you love him. And I said, yes. And that's what I got from the video. It was interesting. And if you're wondering how we played this back, well, you see, the video they took, I call it a video because it is a video reproduction of the whole wedding that we went through. See, what they do is they take a small marble, a crystal marble, and they then go ahead and cast a spell upon it, and when they do, the marble glows and picks up all the things that happen in the area, including sound. That's an upgrade they came out with. I think that the wizard who came up with this device is called Sonny. I don't know if that's true. He could be called Tashiba or Magna Box. I don't know. It could be all three. Either way, this is a wizard who decided he was going to do that. So, or she. Like I said, I don't know who truly they were, but they made this as a thing for us. So I gotta say, thank you, wizard, for who made this video. It helped me in figuring out what the hell happened. So, anyway, so we, my love and I, after I figured out what happened, we went down and searched for Hawk and Harper, and we did find Harper before we found Hawk. You see, we were still in the garden, and the hotel we were staying at was in the Imperial Acre. Yes, apparently, the Queen had found out that I had married, and she came to our reception, which was at the restaurant there in the Imperial Acre, and when she showed up, I may or may not have told her that something ruckus or raunchy, I don't know. I remember I was quite drunk, and at this point I wasn't anywhere. So but from my snooky poo, from Daggy, she told me that the Queen came, and she blessed our union, and hoped that we made many little babies. And I said, oh, I've never had children before. And my Daggy said, oh, you'd never had children? Well, we're gonna have dozens. And I said, oh crap, I better build onto my house. And she goes, oh, you own your house? And I said, yes, I own a house. It's not here in this sphere, but I will take you after we have our honeymoon. And she is just happy, because I told her that I have a rock garden, and I have access to local fare, as well as, of course, near the woods, and there's also a lake within a good walking distance. So she is very happy, and apparently she loves books. I didn't know that right away, and then because she says, before we leave, I have to go to my home and pick up all my books. I said, how much books do you have? She goes, oh, a small library. And then I saw her house. Her house was quite nice, actually, for the Goblin Quarter. And now I say that not as it's saying it was a bad place. No. In fact, the Goblin Quarter is very, very nice. It kind of reminds me of this this area down in another sphere called America, in what they call a state called Louisiana. And there is a city town there called Nolens, or New Orleans. I don't know. I can't do the voice. I can't do the accent. I went down there and everybody said, oh, look at that man. He is speaking in a terrible, terrible accent. I said, sir, this accent is the accent that I've been born with. You do not say anything bad. I don't say, anything bad. Oh, what is that to eat? And then, of course, I became fast friends with everybody there because they had such wonderful food. But they have a place called the Ranch Quarter, which I think was named after the soup. But anyways, they have wonderful old architecture, and that's what the Goblin Quarter looks like. Very, very nice stuff. Anyway, so we boxed up a lot of her things, and I put them through a portal to my home, and she looked through the portal and said, wow, that's a lot of books. And I said, you do not know the half of it, honey. And she smiled and she gave me a kiss, and I felt very nice. I felt very nice. And then she then told me that one of the reasons we got married was because instead of getting a lap dance, because she was a stripper, she's not a stripper anymore. She told me she's not going to be stripping anymore, but she is very flexible. But anyways, instead of getting the lap dance that I had paid for, she actually sat down with me and we had a conversation. That conversation talked about how she herself was just doing this to keep herself in shape. Apparently, she is a very, very bright young lady. She is actually working to actually build a better system for the area of garden, so that way they can actually transport people through the forests and through different sections without having to worry about relying on wagon trains or anything like that. So I am behind her 100%, and I think it's wonderful that she's doing that. It's a good thing to do. She's very handy. Anyways, I was saying, my honey poo, my daggy, she is currently, she went down to, yes, honey, I see you. She's currently, over by the pool, and she's doing laps. I would do that too, but you called me, so I had to go ahead and come to you and to talk to you about things. So, yes, anyways, and so everything's fine. It's just wonderful, and I will not. I will be continuing our stories. The next week. This week I have to enjoy my honeymoon. Yes, I've told my wife I will not be drinking because I've probably pickled my liver this last couple weeks. Week. God, I hate time dilation. Sometimes it's very confusing, but it's also very nice because then you could spend 5 weeks in a place and then still go home and have a nice, relaxing weekend. But anyways, if you're wondering what she looks like, well, she is. Yeah, I'm talking about my wife. She is about 3 foot tall. Has a nice light shade of green on her skin, and she has beautiful blue hair. I believe it's blue. It's a greenish blue, and her eyes sparkle like emeralds. She has a beautiful singing voice, and of course, great assets. And large bosoms. Can you tell I like that? Yes. Anyways, I should probably go back to her, but I feel bad for not continuing our story with the bachelor party. But you know now that, of course, Hawk and Harper were found, and they're doing fine. Apparently, after I left from getting married, Harper and Hawk sat down and had a good conversation. Hawk decided that, of course, yes, they were still going to get married. He didn't have any doubts anymore, and Harper said that he would be behind him no matter what. So he and Harper decided to head back to the nest and see the little eaglets and give them kisses and tell them that their Uncle Harper loves them. And I told them, tell them that their Uncle Nook loves them too and that they're good little eaglets. And they said, okay, we will do that. So I said, okay, thank you. And then I gave them all both big hugs. And then I opened a portal for them to go back home. And there we go. It was all said and done. So, yes, my stories may be a little off, but I will try my best for you. But until then, I just want to let you know about some of the things that we are planning on doing, myself and Daggy. At this resort, like I said, it's a honeymoon resort. We've been here for just a couple days, and while we've been here, we've had a couple's massage. It's very nice. And everybody keeps asking the same thing about me, and I've gotten used to it, but I it's one of those things where they keep on asking me, sir, what exactly are you? And I can't say I'm a dragon or a dragon god adjacent being or anything like that. I've told Daggy about what I am, and she goes, wait a minute, so your species is no longer here. And I said, oh, honey, I've never really had a species. There was Kerr the dick, and then there's me that came right afterwards. So he's like my big brother, but we will never see him because he's a dick. And of course he's stuck in the void between voids. And that was a long conversation for our first night. And of course, it's a little rocky, but I've also tomorrow, we're supposed to meet up with her family. Yes, they live at the far end of the garden. When I mean the far end, I mean they live near the what would be considered the old elven stronghold, where the Night Sky Syndicate now have their stronghold. That they originally were all from downtown, but they decided to move to the stronghold because, one, there was plenty of land there, and they were giving it away for free, and two, it was also a place that they could find massive amounts of jobs for good money. So I will meet her parents and her brothers, and hopefully they like me. I hope I don't seem too much, because she is a beautiful, wonderful woman. And I look at myself, and I look at myself in the mirror compared to her, and she is beautiful, and I am an old fogey. I feel bad about that. I'm like, maybe I should shave the beard. But she likes, I shouldn't say this, but she likes pulling on my beard during love making, and I kind of like it as well. So she says, keep the beard, honey. I love the beard. I tell her, oh, Snooky, I love you too. And it's been a journey, learning more and more about each other. She keeps on asking me if I have any family, and I tell her the same thing. I have an older brother, and of course he is a dick, and we will never see him. If we do see him, that means, of course, all life will die, and I don't want that to happen. And she goes, well, how old are you, honey? And I said, oh, honey, I am actually older than time, and I've never felt this way before by anyone. And she goes, really? And I said, yes. I've lived countless lifetimes, and I've always known that love was something that would never fall for me, because I, of course, will outlive everyone. And she goes, really? And I said, yes. I feel bad about that, because I even in this situation, I wish that we could be together forever. And she goes, oh, honey, don't worry. Everything will be all right. And she's such a ray of sunshine, and I just feel so wonderful with her. Oh, hi, honey. Oh, she did a belly flop. Yes, and she's so... Oh, it's just wonderful. I'm sorry, I'm prattling on like a young man. And you all know I'm not a young man, but I'm so happy. I'm so happy that I found love. Oh, I mean, I haven't felt this way since the flower drew, and honestly, this feels right. This feels very right. Yes. So, my good friends, we are... Hey. Hold on. There's a guy walking up to my wife, and she is poking at him and telling him to leave her alone. Hold on, I'll be right back. Hey, you. Leave that young lady alone. Leave her alone. That's my wife. Yeah, you walk away. Yeah. No, honey, I just didn't want him to bother you is all. I love you too. Okay, I'm gonna go, after this we will go down, and I'll come swim with you after a bit, okay? Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I just said, I'm not the jealous type. It's just, I just want to make sure she's okay. That she was being, kind of, leered upon by, some very large orcish men, and he was being quite mean and quite hurtful. He was saying things like, oh, show us your titties, oh, show me that rump, and I did not like that, and she didn't like that. She told him, leave me alone, I am married. And she showed him a ring, and he says, oh, that doesn't mean anything, it just means more fun. And I was like, no. And we talked a little bit, and in the end, we're fine. Yes. Okay, but okay, I will. You know what? I will give you a little bit of a story about what happened with the friends at the Night Sky Syndicate. And when they were at the not the run. They were at the Curve. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Curve is one of the few places in the astral sea that are habitable. You see, so there are ports and there are rogue planets in the astral sea, and this means that they don't have to worry about air. They don't have to worry about many things other than, of course, getting enough food, sleep, because you do need that, or you will go insane. Yes, you will. It's not a fun time. Anyways, the Curve was actually created of a lot of different spelljammers that were cobbled together, as well as, of course, bits and pieces of crystal sphere, and not big pieces, tiny pieces compared to what a crystal sphere actually is, but you don't know what I mean. Anyways, the Curve, after several thousands years, was able to build a great port city, and most of the people that were there that actually ran the city, not just lived in the city and sold in the city or traded with the city, but those who actually lived there and ran it were arcanes. Now, if you don't know what an arcane is a very tall blue person. They have 6 fingers on each hand, and they are basically very wealth oriented. Yes, and they keep telling everybody that they are the original creators of the Spelljammer. That's a bunch of horseshit. I know that for true. Yes, I do. I know where it came from. I won't tell you because I've told people that I will keep that a secret, because you know, if everybody knew where the Spelljammer came from, then they wouldn't be as mysterious as it should be. And so you will just have to understand that you have to keep it mysterious to keep it relevant. Anyways, the arcane that are there, like I said, they're very money oriented, and they will basically allow you to stay there, live there, sell there, as long as they get a bit of the cheese that goes with it. And when I mean cheese, I do not mean Gouda. I mean a bit of the money, the moolah. You know, copper, gold, silver, all that good stuff. So yes. So our group landed there on their ship, the Twisted Courtesan, and they stayed. And with the Curve, there is no real like other places where you have the spires and the lakes and the fields where they can land. No, this is more of a just pull up to the dock kind of thing, and because the docks themselves are out in the middle of, you could kind of jet it out into the astral sea, so you kind of just sit there and bob and weave a little bit along with the flow and current of the astral sea. So it's more like a traditional dock than any of the other places that you really see in the astral sea or in any of the spheres. So, when they landed at the Curve, they went inside and they had a wonderful time. They got to talk and also Nikki, Scylla, and Penna went to a orc bar, and there they were making rude remarks to Penna, since she was the only elf in the room full of goblins and orcs and all that, you know, making catcalls and everything. And that's when, of course, Nikki staked her claim on Penna, and so that way, you know, the others wouldn't bother her. And that's also where Nikki got to beat up a man and take one of his tusks. Yes. Don't mess with Nikki Bloodfire. She will fuck you up. Anyways, so after they got the information they needed, which was, of course, more information about the scroll and where they needed to go to get Jack, and when they found out, they left. Nikki kept the tooth, the tusk that she had, because, that is spoils of war that they got. So afterwards, they went back to the ship, met with everybody, and also got to see for the first time the pirates. First ones they saw were the jesters. The jesters are run were run by an evil captain named Captain Whitefang. Lupin Whitefang. Now, he is what they used to call them werewolf lords, but he kind of got phased out, so they just call him werewolves. But he is a very powerful one, and not only that, but he has the odd the practice of when he finds a bit of fur or skin or whatever he likes, he will take that from the person that he wants, and it's a lot of times it's not by choice by that person. It's mostly by him just reaching up and either stabbing you to death or taking you by the throat while he cuts off a bit of skin from you or fur, and then he will do the same to his own body and then stitch your fur or skin onto his body, so that way he has a patchwork style of look to his body itself. Yes, it's, they look like motley. Now, those of you who don't know what motley is, it is basically the patchwork clothing that a lot of jesters make. That's why they say they wear motley. Anyways, so he came in with his Ironmonger ship. Now, I know you all know about the Ironmonger ship because you've heard from the Nice Guy Syndicate and their adventures, and you know that it's a giant Ironmonger that's basically the size of an asteroid, and they like to go through the astral sea and gobble up ships and peoples and what have you, depending on the size. They will usually hide in astral fields and asteroid fields, and they will wait there until a ship gets within range, and then they will gobble them up. Yes, but this one was dead and carved out so that Captain Whitefang, leader of the jesters, would take and use that as his ship. And at the central eye, there was a giant cannon, and of course you know all about that cannon because of course I think that was in the first few episodes of the Night Sky Syndicate they talked about that cannon. So I won't go further into the Ironmonger or the cannons or anything, but I will continue on what happened at the curve. Well, anyways, as they were there, the Night Sky Syndicate noticed that the curve, the people of the curve, bowed down to Captain Whitefang and his people because it seemed like they were afraid that he would attack them and destroy everything, which of course he probably would. He strode up, and as he went by the twisted courtesan, he sniffed the air and went up to Joe Rock. And as he looked at Joe Rock, he said, "I like your fur." And everybody kind of pushed back and said, "Leave him alone." Well, Captain Whitefang just smiled and walked away because he had marked Joe Rock as his next victim, his next bit of patchwork he would add. So, as they left, they went to find some more information, and as they did, they found a young man named Rook. Now, Rook is a mercane. That is a child of a arcane and another person of a species. He was part human, so he is not as tall as the others. His skin it's just a smidge lighter than a lot of other arcane, and he still has the 6 fingers on each hand, but he and his father worked together, and he really wanted to leave and see the rest of the spheres. He dreamed of it, but his father said he needed him for help, and the father was actually working on a special type of runic magic that would protect the people of the curve. and he only needed one last thing for it. And that was the only reason that he was still alive, was because he needed to work on it. You see, another reason why everybody on the curve bowed down to Captain Whitefang was that he had a special generator on his ship that would send out a pulse that would make all spell-jamming helms inert, so you could not fight back against him on a spelljammer. You would basically die. So, yes, so without the use of their spelljammers or any way to fight back, they were in his thrall. The group found out about this and decided to make a difference. Now, Rook and his father told them that they had only one thing left to do, and that was, of course, activate it, but it required a sacrifice. Now, while they were checking things out, they got some intel that there was something happening in the sewers of the curve, and while they were there, they went down there and they found a almost formed Codolith Knight. Now, this one was not all the way created and was actually in quite a bit of pain and asked for death. Well, since they needed a sacrifice, they went ahead and used him, and they activated the runes. Now, with that activation, it made it so that the magic coming from the Eyemonger ship did not affect anybody on the curve, and such they were able to fight back against the storming hordes of the Chesters. And with that, our group was able to leave, but Rook decided he wanted to go with them, so he chose to go with them. Now, during their times on the curve, they also got to meet a new species of people called the Kenda. Now, those of you who do not know about Kenda, of course you know about the ship They're Not Stolen and their people, but you see, Kenda are smaller. They're the size of a standard human child, so maybe about 4 foot, maybe 3.5 feet tall, and they look like elves, but just shorter elves, and they have this weird feeling that if you are they want to protect people's objects. So if you have a object in a locked cabinet in a bunker, and they happen to come across it, they will be like, "Oh, that's just terrible. You decided to keep this in a place that anybody could go to. I mean, all I had to do was pick 15 locks, disarm 83 traps, and I made it down here in almost 3 weeks. My goodness, anybody could have done this. I better take that item and put it in my pocket, and that way I will make sure it never gets lost or stolen." Now, in the mind of a Kenda, what they just did was protecting what was found. To everybody else, they're just fucking stealing. So, yes, if you are around a Kenda and you find yourself that you are missing something like a wallet or money or something, just ask them, "Did you take it?" And if they say, "Oh, yes, I did. I kept it for you, so it did not fall out of your pocket. You see, it came out so easily when I reached in." You just say, "May I please have that back? I will make sure to protect it where it is very safe." And they would tell you, "Okay, here you go," and they would hand it back to you. Now, you might also get something that is not yours, and they will do that because sometimes they forget what they took. So they'll be like, "Well, I know I took a ring from you, so here's a bag of rings. Just find the one that is yours." So yes, so if you are coming across the Kenda and they do steal from you, don't get angry at them. They don't understand that. They'll be like, "Why are you so upset? I took that out of your pocket because anybody could take it out of your pocket, and they would then steal it from you. You are very lucky that I held on to it and you did not get it lost, so you should be thanking me." Again, do not do anything bad to Kendas. They don't know what they're doing. So, anyways, they found some Kendas on the hull of their ship who were just looking. They're investigating the ship. I mean, they wanted to make sure that there was nothing there that could be taken by others. And of course, that's when they found out about Kendas, and they were tossed off the ship. So yes. Now then, our friends then made their way from the curve once, of course, the threat of the jesters was handled. And they left the curve, taking Rook with them, and they sailed into the astral sea. Now, along the way, because when you're sailing on the astral sea, there's a lot of downtime. So you are usually looking after the ship, checking your stores, just doing regular maintenance and what have you, as well as, of course, just, doing shit. So that's what they did. And as they were coming along, they found an asteroid field. And as per Scylla, this was a asteroid field in between the curve and another port called the Run. Oh, excuse me. I had a Mai Tai earlier, and I think it's coming up. I think it was called a Mai Tai. I asked them for a non-alcoholic drink, because I'm trying not to drink on my honeymoon. And they said, oh, sure, and then their eyes seemed to get irritated, so they were winking, and I was like, oh, yes, and I was like, oh, yes, I just want a non-alcoholic drink, and they're like, sure, sir, we will make sure to do that. So they gave me a Mai Tai. It's very good, very good. I'm not quite sure. I think there's a bit of alcohol in it. I don't know. I've had 3 and I feel very good, but I think there's alcohol in it. They told me it didn't have alcohol. Every time they did, that poor man has an eye infection. It's causing issues with him. Anyways, as they were going through the astral sea, they said, this is the asteroid field between, of course, the curve and the Run. This is a well-known asteroid field, and many people just kind of go away from it, because at one point it gets very dense, to the point that all those stories they say about, flying through asteroid fields, dodging rocks left and right, that normally doesn't happen. I mean, it's very well spread out. You could fly through blind and not hit anything, unless, of course, you're really trying. So, as they were flying by, they got close to where it was very compact, and as they did, they saw that there was a man standing on some of these smaller asteroids, and he would dodge in and out of shadows until he arrived to their ship, and he basically told them that he was a Shadow Ranger, a man who is able to teleport himself through shadows, and that he was one of the last Shadow Rangers in that portion of the astral sea. And many people, even after finding out about this young man, who, of course, he's not young, he's very old. I mean, he doesn't age, but you know what I mean. Anyways, so the astral I do believe there was alcohol in those Mai Tais. I am getting flustered. Anyways, as the Shadow Ranger talked to other group, he found out that they were not a threat to them. So they decided to just leave him alone, and he was totally fine with it. And he advised them that if they want to, he lives on the planet Cornucopia, which is hidden amongst the asteroid field. That is where the Shadow Rangers have a sanctuary for animals who are endangered to become extinct. And that means, of course, there will not be any more. They've made many trips around the spheres, and they've found multiple species that have needed help, and they have brought them to Cornucopia. Now, on Cornucopia, they also do another thing that is very interesting, and that is, of course, that once you are on Cornucopia, if you are an animal race or goblinoid, you start getting very randy and your hormones get jacked up to the point that, you could just be like, look, I am wearing 5 condoms, I'm on that I have on the pill, and my wife is using an IUD, which means an intrauterine device, which will stop the baby stuff, and of course we are also she's using contraceptives as well, but we still got her mega pregnant. So that's what would happen if you went down there and did that. So yes. So our group decided to spend some time with this Shadow Ranger, hear his story, and then he allowed them to leave. Because most people didn't get this close to the cornucopia. No, most people would stay away from all those asteroids. They would stay far away. But our group, being our group, decided to go ahead and get down to the asteroid field a lot closer than they should. So, anyways, after that, they decided to go to the run. And with that, my friends, I will leave you, for I am gonna go ahead and have some fun in the pool with my honey pool, my little daggy. And I'm gonna go ahead and we're going to enjoy our honeymoon. So until next time, remember, knock on the door, and if you see a tie on my door when you come to visit, please, for the love of God, knock, and then wait like 10 minutes so that we have time to clean things up, okay? Because if you don't, you are going to see some shit that you probably didn't want to see. In fact, give us like a week before you really come into the house, because if you do, and you see that we are setting up certain types of equipment, you may ask questions, and we may not want to tell you, or we may tell you, and you may want us to stop. So, yes. Anyways, so you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Toodles! Wait for me, honey. I'm coming!